Need to make a display a whole bunch of coffee mugs for a craft show that's coming up that I'm going to be participating in. And you could also use this to display some of your own mugs, and I'll show you what I'm making and how I'm making it. And it's all being made out of repurposed materials. Coming up. Hi, I'm Roger. Welcome to the shop. And I got the little bitty router table up here. I need to do some 16th inch roundovers that I'll be showing you here why here in a little bit. But as I mentioned at the beginning here, I'm going to be making display stands, 2 of them. And they are going to be 4 steps high like this. And this is 1/2 inch plywood. It's actually all the plywood here I'm using is made out of a packing crate. And I managed to cut around the holes and all the weird stuff in there, and I made 6 of these. There'll be 3 on each one of the stands. The stands are 3 foot long, and there'll be 4 display steps for mugs, like so. And I got a couple little things I'm doing to keep them from falling off and to keep the thing rigid, but I wanted to keep it lightweight. So the 1/2 inch plywood are the ends and a center support. For the little shelf, I'll be using repurposed 1/4 inch hardboard, and this was actually the protective flooring in a high voltage substation, and I got a hold of that because I was an electrician. So I have a lot of friends in the trade, and this is, hey, you want some of this? I go, yeah, I'll take it. The back pieces is going to be repurposed 1/8 inch pegboard. It used to be a display, and these stickers come off pretty easy. But what I'm going to be doing with this is putting a 1/8 inch, or I should say a 16th inch roundover on each side. Well, it's kind of hard to find a 16th inch roundover bit. Well, I happen to have one in this little Dremel setup I have for some of the scroll saw projects I've done. And so that's what I'm going to do here, put a little bit of a roundover on that so there's no sharp edge. Is there a written plan for this? No. To me, this is pretty simple and straightforward. I just need to get this pounded together and painted because this is Wednesday and the show is Saturday. So I'll show you how I put this together. So that puts a nice little round over on here. This will be the top edge. And I have this designed so that this lip will stick up just a little bit above the shelf so that the mugs on display can't fall off. Okay, here we are. I got one of them finished, and in a moment here I'll take you through putting one of these together step by step. I'm using 1/4 inch narrow crown staples. You could also use brads. I had a little bit of a problem with the, as hard as this hardboard is, getting the staples to set all the way, and I'm going to have to use a hammer to finish them down. I may switch to brads on the next one here. They'll all work the same. I've got some clamps up here to hold this top and front and back together, and you'll see why when we assemble the next one. Okay, so you're wondering, you know, what's the dimensions? Well, this is going to depend on your cups or your mugs or whatever you're going to display. These are 11-ounce mugs, and I have to be able to display 72 of them at the show. So what this is, the width here of the shelf is 3.5. These risers here are 4.5, but they sit up about 3/8 to 1/2 inch above the shelf. That way, the mugs can't just fall off. At the edges here, I'll have to kind of watch. I'll probably set them like this so that the handles are out like that. And then at the top, I added another one to the back up here, as you'll see when we do the assembly, so that it can't fall off the back. Something else this will allow me to do with the display, aside from being able to get a lot of them in a small space and make them all visible, is I have a large open area underneath here, and for each one of these mugs I have what they call a gift box, and of course they'll be all folded up, but I could take them out and assemble them and put the cup in it for the customer. So it'd be a nice place to store that, and maybe some plastic bags and cash drawer maybe. Yeah, we'll see about that. So let me get this thing moved. I've got to set it over so the glue can dry. Then I'll take you through putting one of these together step by step. Okay, for assembly, the first thing you're going to need to do is have your pieces standing up. Well, if you're by yourself, like I am most of the time, that's a little tough to be able to hold those. What you can do is just take some glue clamps and clip them to the wood, and you can square things up as you go here. Take your first shelf piece. I made a mark at 18 inches. This is 3 foot long, so I want that in the center. And I will apply some glue here. I'm using just Titebond 1 on this. This is doesn't need to be waterproof. Now I am switching to brads on this one from the staples because I was having such a hard time getting the staples to set all the way. So you want to get your first one lined up here. It's important that you get the first one straight or the rest of them won't be. Yeah, I think the brads are going to work a lot better. So get the next one up here. And I'm using a square to make sure that I am square. And I just go right up the line here and do the shelves first. Okay, once I have all the shelves on, I remove my clamps here. And I turn the whole thing over like this. So now we got the steps going the other direction. This makes it easier to put the other pieces on. So of course you want to make sure you put your rounded edge up when you're doing this and the smooth side out. That sized up, looks good. I put a little bead of glue here too. It just adds a little bit of rigidity to it. Piece here is just a little long, but that'll sand off just fine. And then it's just a matter of repeating on each one. This is called a glue bot, in case you've never seen one. It's you can glue in about any direction you want with it. I really like them. I've got one for each one of the glues we use. They're not expensive. Okay, once you got all those pieces on, I just flip it over. Like so. So it's upside down. I take a ruler here, I measure up 4 inches. Normally I would spread glue, but for this little project I'm not going to bother. Of course, make sure you got the right side out and the rounded side up. Line it up with that mark. Make sure you're square. And on this very top, I like to put some clamps. So now all I have to do is let the glue dry, do some sanding, and paint it. So what color am I going to paint it? I'll paint it brown. That will make a good contrast to these white colored mugs, although not all my mugs are completely white, but it'll make a good contrast. I originally thought about painting it white, but then nah, I think we'll go with the dark brown. That, and I've got a whole bunch of it I need to do something with.